If I can compose myself.
Okay, so welcome to Jaelyn's team. I'm super excited to have Jaelyn here today. Just to talk to at least my coaches on inviting. I know I even struggle with inviting people. Like some days it's super intimidating to me to think like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do to invite somebody today? I know I need to do it, but how am I going to do it today? So, anyhow, Jaelyn, I don't know what your official, are you 5-star yet? Or are you 5-star qualifying?
No, I'm 2-star, but I'm like 3 coaches away from 5-star and about 5 coaches from 8-star.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Anyway. That means you want to learn from her, right? Like, for real. This is awesome. So, we don't need to make it, I'm not super, I don't know, formal. So we can just get right to it and you can do your thing.
Okay. Okay, can we have everybody mute yourselves so we don't have like crazy feedback? Okay, awesome. Okay, so she said, my name is Jaelyn. I'll kind of tell you a little bit about my story so you guys kind of know who I am or whatever, but I've been a Beachbody coach since January of this year, and I started because I was in a dark place. I didn't love my life. I was not happy. I felt like trapped in my own body, yet like I gained weight while I nursed, and I was nursing my 9-month-old, and it was really discouraging to me because I was heavier than when I delivered him. And so I knew I needed to do something. We were super stressed financially. So I watched Micah for a year and a half before I reached out to her. And I was one of those lurkers that never did anything. I never liked her stuff. I never commented on her stuff. And then one day out of nowhere, I said, I think I want to coach. So just know that people are watching you, and sometimes they don't ever do any interaction. So when you think you're hearing crickets, you may not be having crickets at all. People are still watching. So I joined in January to kind of help with our financial situation and to help with my physical situation. And little did I know how much the business would like change our lives completely, like in every way. I've lost 35 pounds and over 50 inches since January. And my goal was to make at least $500 a month because that was my income that I had from watching my niece, and I quit watching her, and we had to have that to like literally pay our bills. And so that was my goal, and I've done that every single month. And just in September, I passed my husband's income. So it's blessed our lives financially, physically, and then mentally. Like I didn't realize how much I needed the positivity. I was very negative, like extremely negative, and I just was not I didn't even like to be around myself. Like that's when you know it's bad, when you kind of want to run away from yourself. And I didn't realize how much I needed like the social aspect. And I thought I was happy with, I'm not really a social person in real life. Like it's too hard for me with kids and schedules. Like it was too much work to add on trying to throw friends in the mix. And this has been amazing for me because I'm reconnecting with all those old friends, and it's on Facebook. So I don't have to like schedule out. And anyway, so it's blessed our lives. Like I can't even say how much. And I learned quickly on, I'm going to just jump right into how I invite and stuff. I learned really quickly on that sharing my story is what connected me with people and what got people to trust me and come to me about, doing the business also, and also just being a challenger. It was a post, when I realized this, it was a post I had done about my oldest daughter. She's 8, and we're like 99.9% sure she has Asperger's. I've never had her tested. I don't find it necessary because I know what she has. I know what we need to work on, and we work on it and stuff. But I opened up and did a post about that, and at the time I didn't want to talk about it. It was something I don't want people to label her. I don't want people to judge her. I don't want people to excuse behaviors. And so it was something I didn't really want to talk about. So I thought it was going to be I don't know, a post that I wouldn't love, but I actually got more support than I had ever expected. And that was when I realized that people relate to real life. They don't relate to the fake, I'm perfect and have a perfect life that Facebook a lot of times puts off. And so that was when I really started to share and dig deep and just really share me besides Beachbody, but also whenever I'm posting about Beachbody, I share about me and Beachbody, not just Beachbody. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the trainings that Micah has set up. If you are doing those trainings, you will be successful in learning how the business works, learning how you need to post, learning how to not be salesy, learning how to be genuine. Like that training just lays completely out for you how to do everything. So if you're doing that 21-day new coach training, you're going to be good at this. You've got to apply what you learn though. You can't just listen to it and you can't just take bits and pieces of, well, I don't like to do that and I'm not going to do it because I don't like to do it. And I like this, so that's okay. Like you've got to do it all. I had the mentality of when I started that Micah clearly knew what she was doing and I was going to trust her. I trusted her from watching her. And so when she told me to do something, I did it because she obviously knows what she's talking about. And every time I've done that, it's worked. So trust in the training that Micah has put out there for us. It really does work. Okay, so on posting, you need to make sure that you're being real. So don't try and appeal to someone you're not. You need to make sure that you are genuinely sharing you. So we all have bad days. Biggest thing is you don't want to be negative because no one wants to be around someone who's negative all the time. We all have bad days, but you need to like somehow apply a lesson or spin it for the positive so that people, when they have those bad days, will remember you and remember your post. And it's just, you need to be a spot where people can come for motivation and positivity. Use girlfriend talk or make sure that you're talking how you would in real life. I found that I was a lot of times, I would go to text my sister who's on the call. Hi, Jerica. I would go and like I'd go to text her or my mom excited about something. And I'd be like, oh wait, that's a good post. Why am I just sharing it with them? So then I'd go to my computer and I would start typing like I was some professor. And I'm like, what? This is an English class. We don't have to have perfect like typing skills. And it made it very impersonal when I was doing that. So I started whatever I was texting my sister, I started literally copying and pasting that into my status because that is real talk, however you're talking. And you want people to feel like they're actually talking to you through your Facebook. You don't want to be talking to general populations. You want to use the words like you and I. So it's you're pretending you're talking to one person. That makes them feel like you are literally talking to them. So any status updates I do, I make sure that I am pretending I'm talking to my mom or my sister or my best friend, and I talk and type as though I am having that conversation with them. Just share you all around. I know that a lot of people get like stressed about like, I've got to sign up coaches and I've got to be like, inviting challenges and I've got to talk about Beachbody, that you kind of forget that you are still a person and you're still the same person you were before you signed up to Beachbody. And that is who you need to be sharing with Beachbody. So make sure that you're posting you. So I like to tell my coaches to pick 3 topics of interest. Beachbody is one of mine. I like fashion and like hairstyle stuff and makeup stuff and stuff like that. I homeschool my kids. So anything that has to do with like my family life, those are posts that get a lot of interaction. So I share those topics. If I'm ever like, I can't think of anything to post, those are the 3 areas I go to. And I just try and share me through those topics. That also has to do with your target audience. So you need to make sure, this is a big change for me too, was I was trying to appeal to everybody when I first started, and I just needed challenge pack sales and I just wanted to help anybody, and it wasn't working because I was being so general that I wasn't appealing to anybody. So you need to really solidify your target audience. Who do you want to help? Who do you relate with? So I have found that the person I relate with is pretty much a mirror image of me. I'm looking for young moms, stay-at-home moms, people who are frustrated with their weight, moms who gain weight while they're nursing, people who are struggling financially, homeschool moms. I'm kind of a hippie, so I appeal to like holistic people. But at the same time, I love fashion and stuff. So that's my target audience. And I am trying to gear my posts around those people. So I don't care if, like, my husband and I have a joint Facebook account. I don't care if his friends are annoyed at my posts because I'm not trying to appeal to them. I'm trying to appeal to my target audience. So the people who are blocking me or unfriending me or maybe being annoyed, they're not in my target audience. So it doesn't matter. So when you're sharing you need to make sure that you're sharing and making your posts appeal to your target audience, instead of like trying to appeal to the mass population. You'll have better success with challengers because you'll relate to them. You'll have better success with them signing up as coaches because they'll relate to you. It's not so general that you're going to struggle with them. So I know it was hard for me at first because I was like, but I just need anybody. But no, you need people who you're trying to target and trying to really relate to. Okay, so the best way to share you is to work on you. So when I first started, I started right into a challenge group. I started I'd never done a Beachbody program before, as far as like, I did P90X years ago and I hated it. So I didn't even really do it. I think I did like a half a day and then I was done. So I started straight from the beginning. I'd never done a challenge group. I had never been a coach before, obviously. And so I just decided to share my journey as I started. And I had a ton of interest because I was continually sharing. So I did weekly picture updates. I talked about the food I was eating. And I had, like I said, a lot of interest. And then after I kind of got to like, I did one really strict round of 21 Day Fix. And then I did like 21 Day Fix meal plan, but just not super strict pretty much from then on. And I did 21 Day Fix Extreme one round. And then I did some of Insanity Max and some of PIO. And I kind of bounced around in different programs. And I continually shared what I was doing, but I didn't really focus on me, if that makes sense. And I decided I was going to recommit to 21 Day Fix right before Thanksgiving. So I'm on like my 4th day. And I found that my posts are a lot easier because I am specifically focused on myself. And I'm really like diving into fixing, like my eating got off track, and I'm making sure that I'm exercising every day and I'm drinking my Shakeology and I'm being accountable. Like, it completely has shifted again because I am focusing on me, and it makes it easier to share when you're really focusing on you, because it's hard to share something when you have nothing to share. I've had a lot of interest again because of me sharing my journey. So I think that was a huge light bulb moment for me again, is to pick a program and do it. There was a National Wake Up Call by Danielle Natoni. Wasn't it her that talked about that? It was recently, like just a couple weeks ago. And she talked about how you need to do the programs, and you don't need to do like a different workout program every day, because these programs were designed to give people results. And if you're doing that and you're like hopping around and you're not doing one program, how can you tell people what the results are going to be if you're not even doing it yourself? So pick a program and stick with it from the beginning to the end so that you can show people by example what you're doing. When you share who you are and how Beachbody is a part of your life, you've got to be sharing consistently. I don't know if you guys all saw Micah's video that she posted the other day about sharing your journey every single day. So it doesn't need to be like all flashy. It can be just a sweaty selfie. It can be like a picture of you guys working out. Like, it doesn't need to be fancy. It can be a picture of your Shakeology or a meal. It just needs to be something every day to show that this is part of your lifestyle, and you're not doing this to sell people out, and you're not like one of those phaser coaches who comes around when they need to sell a challenge pack. Like, that doesn't appeal to people. And a lot of people see that as salesy versus when you're posting every day, they see that as your life. It's part of you. So it's less annoying to be consistent and posting about this lifestyle than it is to randomly post about it. That's where people think you're desperate. So I encourage my coaches, at least one post a day on Facebook needs to be health, fitness, nutrition related. I don't care. It doesn't even need to be a call to invite. It doesn't need to be a call to action. It just needs to show that this is a part of your lifestyle. So share you, and then the other posts during the day just need to be showing people who you are as a person. Okay, so when you're genuine and you make these genuine posts, you don't come across as salesy. And I have learned, my team is probably going to get sick of me talking about this, but like I said, I've learned with the vulnerability. I've learned that when I show transformation pictures, if I connect it to some sort of emotion or something that I'm feeling, I don't get those naysayers. I don't get people attacking me for being obsessed with being skinny or wanting to lose weight, or just that's all I care about is the number on the scale, because I'm relating it to something besides the physical transformation. So when you share your journey, you need to make sure that you're not just sharing, I lost 5 pounds and look how awesome I look. It needs to be connecting with some sort of emotion, because people relate to that. They don't relate to 5 pounds. They relate to, you don't have the bloating from eating bad all weekend. You now don't have that anymore. And you don't have headaches or whatever it is. People relate to that more than they do the 5 pounds or the inches or the weight on the scale. So focus more on like the mental and emotional changes when you post a physical transformation picture. And that seems to get the most traction for me, are those type of posts where you're relatable. And it doesn't even have to be something that someone has actually experienced themselves. It's an emotion, and people all have the same emotion. So if you talk about an emotion, they can relate to that in some way. And when you're genuine, you get people's attention, and they support you, genuinely support you. So when you post these call to action posts, they're not going to be annoyed because they know that you're being genuine and sincere. So when I do my posts, like calling people to action, because I honestly hate personal message invites. Like that is something that is like torture to me. I will do anything I can to not have to do that. And I have figured that out through my posts. So if I post vulnerable enough, I don't have to do those personal message invites. So when I do my posts, I try and do at least one really vulnerable post a week. And I kind of do a call to action in that post. And our team has gone to an ongoing challenge group rather than one a month or whatever. And to do that, we've also done what we do is a prep week, but we open it up to anybody who is interested in the programs. So they don't have to purchase before they can be added to the prep week. They just have to express interest. And so it's only a week long. We just have like 7 prep posts, and we put them in and we tag them in one prep post a day. And then we kick them out at the end of the week. They know that it's just a week long, and it's just to give them a glimpse of what a challenge group is. We do like meal idea pictures so they can see that we're eating real food. We do talk about meal prep and Shakeology, and we have Shakeology recipes and random tips about blood sugar and female hormones and all that stuff. And at the same time, my coaches and I are posting in there as though it was a challenge group. So they see us checking in, and they see the positivity, and they see the people who are like, I'm really struggling today, and they see everybody encouraging them. So it gives them like a snippet of what a challenge group is, and it's been really good for my team. So I would suggest something like that if you kind of have a hard time getting interest. Maybe try doing a prep week that is open to the public, because it shows them that you care, and you're not just out to make a sale, because they're welcome to join whether they buy or not. I get about 50% conversion rate. So if I have 5 people a week that join the prep week, usually 2 to 3 will buy a challenge pack. So that is a great way to invite people without having to PM them. and without having to like just over and over and over talk about it, because they know what it is. And even if they say no and they don't want to buy a challenge pack, you know that that is sitting in their brain. And every time you keep posting and you're being consistent, you're reminding them that they want to do this. So when you hear no, honestly, it means not right now. I can't tell you how many times I've had challengers come months down the road and want to buy and want to join. So just keep planting your seeds. And that's another reason you have to be consistent with your posts and being a Beachbody coach, because they see that and they're going to see these transformations and they're going to see how you're changing mentally and physically and how much happier you seem and alive you seem. And they've been in your prep week if you decide to do a prep week, and it's just going to keep growing that seed that you've planted. I also post in groups that are non-fitness related. So I'm like a part of a spousal group from my husband's line of work. I'm in like a holistic group. I'm in like just a mommy group. And you just have to make sure they don't have any rules about posting for businesses. And you just post in there. So I, once again, don't ever post like, I have a challenge group, you should join me, 21 Day Fix is awesome. I try and relate it, and I literally will do a post that I do on my personal wall, and I do that in the group. And so it's relatable. If nothing else, I expand my network because a lot of people will express interest, and so I'm friending them. So that's a great way to get friend requests done. It also is a way to invite outside of your warm market. And I would just suggest being active in the groups, making sure your name is known so that you're not just like that spammer that comes in and posts about challenge groups. Like, you need to be interacting with people so that, you know, you can even friend request them when you don't do a post, so that they kind of are familiar with who you are and you're not going to look like a creeper. Okay. Another way to invite is just to share about the business. You should be doing this several times a week. And it doesn't need to be flashy and showy. It can be very subtle. It can be something as small as, you know, our car payment was paid today with my Beachbody income, which has been so nice because this stressed us out, or blah, 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 whatever. It doesn't even have to be about money. It can be about the fact that you're surrounded by a whole group of ladies that you've never met in your life, but they're positive and encouraging and motivating, and it's helped you, you know, with your physical transformation because you needed the accountability of being a coach. So whatever it is, you need to constantly be sharing the business so that when people become challengers, or, you know, like me, I become desperate and I need money and I need a physical transformation, I'm going to remember you. And you guys need to be posting that so that people remember you. Okay, so that's honestly what I do to invite challengers. Like I said, I do not love personal invites. They're the death of me. I only do them when I'm in like a super huge bind and I'm not hitting Success Club. And it's very rare. Like, I think I've done invites in February and September or something, and it was like 5 because I couldn't get myself to do it. But you have to be doing these invites in some way. So if you're not getting challengers and you're not hitting Success Club, you're doing something wrong. And I don't mean that to be rude, but either your posts are not reaching out to people and they're not touching people, or your PM messages are not done right. I know that some people have no problem sending personal invites, and it really isn't a big deal. And when I've done it, I've never had bad feedback. I don't know why I have such a mental block with it, but when you do it, you just have to be real there too. So just be genuine and let people know that, like, you're caring and you would love to have them join you and help keep you accountable. And it would be fun to have them along with you, and you would love to be along their journey. And there's some good scripts that I've heard from other diamond coaches that are very, very laid back and non-pushy. And the fact that you're asking them if they want to join a group is a plus, because there are so many MLMs that just throw you in their groups and it's like really annoying. So when you're messaging them, it's actually a good thing, so that they see that you're caring and you're not just going to randomly throw them in a group. And so I suggest, you just say something like, hey, I am looking to not gain weight this holiday season and I have a challenge group starting. Is that something you'd be interested in? And with a prep week, because that's such a good thing for me, I would throw that in. Like, I even have a prep week you could join to see what we eat, and you don't have to buy or anything. I'd love to add you to it. So it makes it very nonchalant, and most people will be like, oh, sure, add me to it. So make sure that you're inviting in some way. If your posts aren't working, you're not sharing enough, you need to be doing these personal messages, but really focus on your posts on Facebook, because that is where you'll get the most traction. Because a lot of people, at least my rate with personal messages was like, not interested. I actually don't even think I got one person that bought from doing a personal message at the time. I've had other people come and say, okay, now I'm ready. So personal messages aren't bad, and they may not happen right then, but you're planting that seed, and that is the whole reason you have to do them, and you have to be consistent, or else that seed's never going to grow, and they're going to think that you're a phaser and you're out for money. So you've got to show them that this is like who you are now. Okay, I'm going to talk now about how I recruit coaches. A lot of that has to do with my challengers. A lot of my coaches were discount coaches because they were challengers and they loved Shakeology and wanted a discount. So I don't ever just discount the discounters. To me, they are potential coaches. Everybody I sell a challenge pack to is a potential coach. So I really make sure that I am doing everything I can to support them in the challenge groups. And, you know, if they're not commenting in the challenge groups, I'm finding out how they're doing behind the scenes, and I'm tagging them in the challenge group, trying to get them to interact there. And then I just, when I sell a challenge pack, I make sure that they know that the Shakeology is on auto ship, so that when I go to approach them about their auto ship Shakeology and the discount, it's not awkward, because I can just ask them, you know, like, how are you doing in the group? They usually respond that they're loving it or whatever. And I say, oh, hey, your Shakeology is set to ship in 7 days. Did you want to get it at a discount? So I always ask if they want to get it at a discount. I never say, did you want to cancel? Because that just plants a seed that they're just going to cancel. So when they say, they'll tell you if they don't want it. They'll say, actually, no, I think I'm not going to do it. Then I give them the email of how to cancel and remind them to cancel their on-demand if they don't want it. If they say, sure, I'd love the discount, then I explain, you know, it saves you $20 a month. And then I explain you're considered a coach, but don't freak out at the word. You literally don't have to do anything, and it saves you $20 a month. And I've never had anybody really pitch a fit about it, because it saves them $20 a month. But it also plants the seed. Once again, we're planting seeds that I tell them, like, you know, you're set up to be a full-blown coach if you wanted to, but you do not have to be, you don't ever have to work the business. It saves you money. But you will be set up with a website. So if your friends or family notice what you're doing and they're interested, you would get paid versus me. And I leave it at that. So people are like, oh, okay, well, that's nice. So then I have them in the challenge groups, and I try and keep them really involved and just like interacting in the groups. And a lot of times their results, they're posting on their own page. We kind of encourage that in our challenge groups, is try to get people comfortable with posting their transformations so that they can see that everybody's body is normal. It doesn't matter who you are. Our society has perverted what normal bodies are. And we want them to be comfortable in their own skin. And so we try and encourage them to share in the challenge group, and that gives them courage to share on their Facebook wall. And a lot of times they're just seeing people in real life, and they're like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And that is when they start to become a builder coach. So a lot of my coaches come from that kind of timeline. It takes a little bit longer, but it totally works. And there's some of my rock star coaches. I have had some out of nowhere coaches that, like, you know, they message me and say, I want to become a coach. What do I need to do? And all of that has come from when I do business posts. You can't expect people to message you and say, hey, I want to be a Beachbody coach if you're never posting about being a Beachbody coach. So that's why it's really important to share about being a coach. A way to get people interested is doing the sneak peek into coaching. If you don't have one, talk to your coach and see if she has one. I know that we did the live event last month and it was awesome, and we're trying to work on doing another one this month. So those are great times to invite people and plant those seeds. So just remember that no matter what happens now to people you're inviting to challenge groups or coaching or events to coaching, you're planting seeds and they're watching you. And those seeds will grow as you continually post and be consistent. This business seriously is all about trust and support and being genuine. And when you do that, people can feel that. So if you're at all hesitant, people pick up on that. You literally could say the same thing and be hesitant, and you could be confident, and they will pick up on it. It doesn't matter if the words are the same. A lot of it has to do with the belief in the products. Do you believe in the products? If you believe in the products, that confidence comes across in your posts. I have a firm belief in 21 Day Fix because of my physical transformation. So I know that the products work. I know that Shakeology works because it's regulated my hormones. It helps my migraine pain. It completely takes away my sweet tooth. I had one tonight because I was like ravenous. So I made another shake. So like I have a firm testimony of the products. And if you do not have a testimony of those products, it's going to be very hard for you to share. So you need to be doing a program and you need to give it your all so that you have a testimony of the products. Do you believe like in the challenge groups and the support that they offer? I know that for me, I joined literally because I could not do it on my own. I went to a nutritionist years ago and I had the meal plan, and it literally is just like 21 Day Fix, by the way, but it's like no options, but it's designed the exact same way. And I could have done it on my own, but I couldn't. I didn't have the support. So for me, I fully believe in the support system of having a coach and having a challenge group. So it's easy for me to share about that because I know how much they help. Do you believe that you are worth it to them? Do you believe in you being a coach? Do you value what you do as a coach? If you don't believe that, they're not going to believe it. So you have to have value in yourself, and you need to understand that what you're doing for them has value. And it can cost them a lot of money to go elsewhere to get a personal trainer, to get a nutritionist, or whatever, route they want to go. They're going to pay someone to do that. I know that a lot of new coaches feel bad and feel guilty that they're making money off of their friends ordering. Like, you've got to get past that mentality because you are helping them do something they cannot do for themselves. You have value, so you have to believe in what you do as a coach. Do you believe in the business overall? Like, are you at all hesitant because this is an MLM? Like, does that bug you? Do you worry what people think about that? If you do, you're going to struggle. I know that for me, not a big MLM fan. Like, honestly, who is though? Everybody thinks that MLMs just scam people. No one ever gets rich off of them. Like, that was the mentality I had. My husband had that mentality, like, biggest MLM hater ever. And now he's fully on board because he believes in the business. This isn't just an MLM company. This business literally changes lives. This isn't something that's we do and it's going to sit on someone's shelf, or something that someone's going to spend money on and they have to keep spending money on that product that has no value and it's superficial. What we're doing can literally change lives. We can change people's health that prevents them from dying of heart attacks. We can change people's mental health because they're exercising. We can change people's physical health. Pretty much everything that has to do with this business changes people's lives. So this company is amazing, and that's what they stand for. If you didn't go to Summit, you need to go to Summit next year, because that was when I really believed in the company. Like, all of their talks and stuff that we went to were not on the bottom line. They weren't like, you need to sell more challenge packs. Like, you've got to convince people, like, we need to sell. It was all about helping people, and they seriously believe in that. This company is designed to help people. The whole organization was designed to help more people. So you've got to believe in that, or else you're going to struggle. So if any of you struggle with the whole MLM thing, you need to Google Lindsay Matway pyramid scheme or something, and there will be a video that pops up. And it's so awesome because she talks about why we're designed this way as a company, and it was just the best way to reach more people was through the network marketing, because they were hugely successful and still are with infomercials, but it's not nearly as successful as personal relationships. So make sure that your posts all reflect your belief in the products, your belief in you coaching them and being a support system, your belief in the challenge groups, your belief in the business overall. If you have a belief in those, and your posts will reflect that, and you'll have a confidence that attracts people. The energy you put out is the energy that you will get back. That's pretty much all. Does that help at all? Did that like make sense?
Totally.
Okay. Did it like overwhelm everybody?
No. I have a question for you. Just
okay.
Because, so I know that when I was a new coach, I was totally guilty of this. Like, you see my power of threes. I need to post on Facebook 3 times a day, right? So I just like post to post.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people do that often just to check the box.
Right.
But my belief is it's better not to post than to post just to post. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. So your posts have to be adding value to someone. Like, it needs to be helping them in some way, whether it's helping them relate to you, whether it's adding value personally to them somehow, making them laugh, making them feel good, offering them a free recipe, showing them who you are as a person. You need to be showing, like, your posts need to be, like I said, sincere and genuine. They cannot be surfacey. If it's like, here's a picture of my dog, like, no one cares. Like, you've got to talk about why your dog is awesome and post a picture. I tell my coaches you've got to make sure that you're posting with a picture. Usually, if you've got a long like script and people have to push the continue to read button, you've got to have a picture attached to it, because no one is going to read any script that's a mile long with no picture. People don't care. They are scrolling, and if they see a picture, they'll stop. So you've got to have an eye-catching picture. It needs to be pleasing to the eye. Make sure you have good lighting. Make sure that it would stop you. Like, would you stop to look at the picture? And just make sure that it has good content. So be you. If you're witty, be witty. Like, if you have a deep thought, say your deep thought. As long as it's something that will help someone and you would stop to read it, then post it. If it's something you would text your mom or your sister because you're super excited, then it probably passes the why test. Like, so what? The so what test. I think it's Danielle and Tony that said that too. Like, is this a so what post? Will this make people stop? So, for sure, do not post random crap, because that does not build your trust with people. Your content needs to be good. That's what builds your trust.
Perfect. And then my other thought was, how often do you do an actual call to action? I think people get confused on a call to action post. You don't ask someone with every post to like, okay, so what do you think? I don't know. I think it's the difference between sharing and then having a call to action. Like, if I share my hot chocolate with you, I'm not going to sit there and be like, so tell me what you think.
Right.
Yummy? Yeah.
So when I do my deep post, I try and do one a week. That's when I usually mention my prep week or a challenge group coming up. Like, let me know if you'd like to join. Today I did a post for day 4 because I could see my abs, which I haven't seen in years. And I was excited about that. That could have been a call to action post, but I didn't. I just posted that because it's just planting seeds. You don't need a call to action post every time you post about the business. That alone, to me, comes across as salesy. So you're sharing that this is a part of your lifestyle, and I would do once or maybe twice a week of call to action. I wouldn't do it every post because that's going to make you look salesy, in my opinion.
Awesome. Those were my 2 thoughts that I wanted to see what you were thinking. Let's open it up to everybody. If you have questions, will you just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question? Because I think it's awesome that we get to pick her brain. Everybody's looking. No one has a question.
Nothing?
No question. You are that good.
That good, or they're like, go away.
No, it's so good. I think sometimes I need to reevaluate my posts. So if you've been a coach for a while and you haven't had someone scroll your feed and give you feedback about it, I think that's a great takeaway from tonight. Go through your feed and see if you would follow you, if you would even care about your own posts, and maybe get a close friend, family member, or your upline coach to give you feedback on it. And that's really only going to help you grow and be better and reach more people so you can help more people. But yeah.
I have a question. So I've been wondering, I know my posts are struggling. I can just feel it. And I haven't been getting as much action on it. So I guess what I'm wondering is, after I've kind of screwed up my news feed for quite a while, like, I know it's just going to take time to get it back, but I'm worried about even my sincere posts, like, coming across salesy if any of my previous posts have been salesy. Does that make sense? Like, I'm just wondering.
It's all about the energy. If you're being sincere, that energy is attached to it. And there are times that I can look back and I'm like, yeah, that totally sounded desperate. But that doesn't mean all of my posts from now on sound desperate. So it's all about, honestly, how you post it. And I found that on those deep, sincere posts, I have to take time, like, honestly, a half hour or so just to draft it up to make sure that I'm not, like, whipping it out and it's, like, not good. So make sure that you're, like, spending time and just be sincere. Like, it starts now. Like, it's okay if you made mistakes in the past. You're learning and you're starting now. So just dig deep about who you are. Like, just share you, like, who you are in real life. And I know that a lot of times, for some reason, the screen messes up a lot of people. Like, just be you. So just share you and constantly be on the lookout for something that you think could help someone. So it doesn't even need to be deep, but it just needs to be something that shows who you are as a person. So going off of what Jessica said, I like to go through my own feed. Like, I'll go and view my profile a couple times a week. A couple times a week to make sure that I'm balanced. Does that make sense? I don't want to be all Beachbody and I don't want to be all me. It's got to be pretty balanced in there. So just start now and just be sincere. But if you're worried about being salesy, that worried about being salesy vibe is going to be attached to that. It's going to affect how you write. It's going to affect how you post. Just believe. You've got to believe in what you're talking about, and it will come across that way.
Okay. I have 2 more questions. Sorry, just throwing them out there.
Can I add to hers really quick? Can I add to her thought? I don't think it's bad to go back and delete stuff on your posts or on your page.
I totally scrubbed my Facebook.
Yeah,
totally.
If you are scrolling through and you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? Delete it. That's okay. Totally fine. Clean it up if you need to. Same thing with your Instagram. Clean it up if you need to.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, do you ever, I don't know if I missed this, so I was kind of back and forth a little bit, but do you ever schedule your posts on Hootsuite at all, or any of the other apps that they have?
No, because I am so not a planner, like, at all. Like, I don't even know what I'm posting tomorrow. And sometimes it's really bad that I'm that way, because I'm like, now I've got to think of something. So I literally don't even know what I'm going to talk about. Like, I generally have an idea what I'm going to do, like a business post, but besides that, I don't. I do have, like, posts saved in my phone of pictures so that, like, if I really hit a wall, I've got something that I can just throw up, you know? Mm-hmm. But I don't. I do in my prep week group, I'll have posts scheduled out so I don't have to think about that. But as far as my personal page, I don't.
Okay. I had just heard that Facebook has an algorithm that kind of catches those posts and doesn't give you as many views. So now I'm really paranoid about that, like, because I liked scheduling my posts before, but I don't know if that's even true, so I don't want to freak anyone else out.
They do. I know that they do it because it, like, you know how when it pops it up, it'll say, like, the company name. So it'll say either Buffer, Hootsuite, or Instagram. It's promoting another company in Facebook's eyes. So yeah, it totally scrubs. So that's why you always want to post organically to Instagram, copy and paste that into Facebook. Don't ever share, because it does limit your audience. It also depends, like, they also have an algorithm with just times of day and stuff like that. Like, are you guys going through your friend lists and actually, like, liking all of your friends' stuff and not just being in your news feed? Your news feed is only the people you've interacted with in the last week. So if you don't have your friends separated into folders, I would suggest that, just because I had no idea. I was like, why am I only seeing the same 5 people over and over? It's because I had only interacted with those people in the last week. And so Facebook, what they do is they say, let's say you post at 8 a.m. They say, okay, out of your 300 friends, how many of them are on at 8 a.m.? 30. Out of those 30, how many of them have you interacted with in the last week? 3. So it only shows those 3 in their news feed what you just posted. So that's a lot of times why you'll hear crickets, because you're not interacting with enough people. So I actually have mine separated by alphabet letter, and I go through like 4 letters a day, A, B, C, and D on Monday, whatever. The rest of the week, I'll click on A, and it pulls up all of my A friends and their posts since the last time I checked that folder. And there are so many posts that I am not even seeing. So I go through and you just like all of them, so that it shows Facebook that you've interacted with them. And then you comment on the ones that you want to build value to and add relationships to. So that makes it easy to focus on your power hour. And it also makes sure that those friends are seeing your posts, because it will scrub it. Facebook will scrub. They scrub a lot of things. So you have to kind of beat the system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, long answer, but yes, I don't schedule out.
Okay, that kind of answered my other question too. I was just wondering, because you homeschool, right? I may have missed that too. I was coming in and out.
Yeah.
Is that you who said that?
Yeah.
Oops.
Yep.
Sorry, my internet's bad.
You're good. Yeah, that was me.
Okay, just how do you find time to do that? Because, I mean, I once did a preschool for my daughter, and it still took me a lot of time. So it sounds hard.
Okay, well, first off, I'm like I said, I'm not super organized. So, I don't even have, a set work time. So we're working on, schedules and stuff. But honestly, my kid's situation with schooling is a little different than most people because of my 8-year-old having Asperger's. So she's a little bit behind. And then my younger daughter under her is a little ahead. So they're on the same page. So it kind of makes it easy. And I take more of a life skills approach at this time. They're still really young. So I focus on them being able to do their own laundry, and they cook their own food. And we do reading, writing, and math. And they have some specifics, but we just make it work for us. We're not the super scheduled, structured family at all.
Okay. That's perfect. Those were my questions.
Yeah.
Love it. Anybody else? Anybody else have questions?
I have one. And I don't know if this call was for me to ask a question, but I have one.
It is.
So,
she's my sister. She can ask.
Okay, great. I'm loud. I just haven't, I started this whole journey a month ago, and I haven't had one headache since I've started, but today, I don't know if it's a hormonal headache or what it is, but I have one, and I hate that I have one. So I just need some advice on what to do besides take medication for it. Would a Shakeology help? Should I take a bath?
This is my bad
having a hormonal headache.
Bad headache routine. Go make a shake. Go sit in the hot bath, put some ice on your neck, douse some oils on your head, and take an Excedrin.
Okay. I'll try not to do the Excedrin. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Anything else?
I want to have a question for you, but I don't. Because you're awesome.
Oh, good. I know. I feel bad for my team. They've heard this 50,000 times. They're probably thanks for the same info that you.
Whatever. It all helps. For any of you guys listening, man, listen to this lady.
Whatever.
That's what she's talking about.
Yes, for sure.
What's so nice is there's so many different ways to be successful at this. So just hearing how other people do it, you can take bits and pieces of what works for other people. So it's just nice to hear other stuff.
Every time you say something, I get something else out of it. So I never get tired of hearing the same thing. So.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
I do just have one more question that I was going to ask, and it left my head, so someone better ask another question for a second.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so what you said about target markets.
Yes.
like, so I am in college, like recently married, super poor. And everyone I know, all of my friends are super poor. So I just keep hearing the excuse, I don't have the money. Right. So, like, my target market, I want people that, you know, have kids, want to stay home with their kids. But I don't know how to relate to that because I can't post something about my kids because I don't have kids. So how would you relate to a target market that's not really you?
Relate to something else that they like. So stay-at-home moms might like fashion, or they might like music, or they might like exercise. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be that they do exactly what you do. You just need to appeal to them in that market. So stay-at-home moms, like, for instance, like, I don't know, like, I remember being poor, and well, heck, we were poor until like January. So you don't have a lot of time when you're a student. You're busy working, you like, a lot of times it's top ramen or whatever you have. Like, so focus, and new moms have the same problem. We don't have a lot of time. A lot of times we just want to throw macaroni and cheese on there. So you appeal to something else that also relates to them. So it's not just being a mom and you being a college student. Start appealing to whatever appeals to those new moms.
Okay, that makes sense.
I would also break it down for your friends who are poor. When a challenge pack is on sale, like, I get poor. Seriously, my mom bought my challenge pack. Like, I get poor. So, but what I didn't realize is, like, the challenge pack, like, a lot of people be like, I'm just going to buy the program alone. I can't afford the Shakeology and the challenge pack. So break it down for them. Like, look, if you're going to pay $70 to $80 for the program by the time it's shipped, whether you buy through Amazon or not, so don't buy through Amazon, buy through me, because you're going to pay the same amount of money, and you're going to have a free disc and a coach. They'll pay $70 to $80. So that makes the difference in the challenge pack, $70 to $80. They get 30 days of 1 meal per day with Shakeology. And on top of that, you're getting your vitamins, you're getting probiotics and prebiotics, you're getting superfoods that if you went to the store and bought kale and spinach, it would cost way more than that. So break down the cost for them a lot of times because they don't see it. And it's money up front. If they can afford the program, they can afford the challenge pack. It's just money up front. So a lot of people just don't see it that way, if that makes sense. And honestly, totally. It comes down to priority. It's not a priority for them. Like, when it becomes a priority, you find a way to do it. So you just got to really nail down your target audience. Like, detail what color of hair do they have, what's their age, how many kids do they have, what kind of car do they drive, stuff like that, so that you can start making your posts geared to that person.
Yeah, I just don't want to be like, hey, this mom, let me, like, relate to you, when they're like, you don't know what I'm going through, type of thing. And I like the whole time with school versus time with, like, being a new mom and stuff. Should I change my target audience? I mean, like, I've always said.
Who is your target audience? Is it the school kids?
No, because they all say no because they're poor.
Well, I wouldn't discount them. I would, like, include them because, A, the business could be a real big thing for them also. So I would use that as something to get them interested, is here's some cash you could have. Because everybody knows someone who has money. I mean, your parents usually help you. You have siblings, you have cousins, it's not like you only know people you know what I mean? Like, in your whatever area, your college group, you know other people. But I would just really focus on your target. Who is in your target audience? And that doesn't mean that it's only going to appeal to new moms. You're going to have, like, a wide range that they'll appeal to something in that target audience.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
I think another thing that Beachbody has going for it is that you don't have to make time to go to the gym. You know, like, you can do that in your living room. So maybe that's even something to, you know, point out to them.
Okay.
Especially, like, where college students usually don't even have a lot of time together as a couple. So I would emphasize doing this as, like, a date. Like, that, my husband and I even do that. Like, that's one of the best times we have is when we're able to work out with each other. So it just gives you something to do besides sit on the couch and eat potato chips. Like, you know?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. That answered my question.
Will you actually friend me? I have a girl that's a student, and she is, like, amazing at her posts and stuff. So friend me and I'll send you her name, and you can, like, kind of scroll through her feed and see what she does.
Okay.
She appeals just to students, and that's like how she makes all of her challenge pack sales and stuff.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
On
Sorry.
top of that, you reminded me, Janice, I was going to say, I go back, so I'm like really private with my news feed as far as like with family stuff and my husband and all that. But I go and I make all of my Beachbody posts public so that if anybody goes and looks at my profile for some reason, they see all of my stuff. And it's kind of like, I don't mind it because when I friend request people, if they accept the request, they already know who I am. So it's not like I'm surprising them when they like, do you know what I mean? And then they can see, I've had several people friend request me just this week because they've gone to my profile somehow, I don't know how, and they've seen my posts about Beachbody and Shakeology, and they've expressed interest because of that. So make sure that you're making all of your Beachbody posts public, not just like Beachbody, but anything health, fitness, nutrition related. So our dinner ideas and stuff like that. So that is a good thing because it starts to build, and you'll soon have people you don't know, looking at your feed, and you want them to see your content. So that was just another tidbit I forgot to say.
So when just going back to people who are poor, so my story is a little bit different. Like I'm really blessed, and I never have super struggled financially. So I didn't struggle, like to buy a challenge pack for me was like no big deal. And it was easy for me to put that on my shelf if I didn't have the accountability from the challenge from the challenge group. But when I talk to people about that, I talk about, I have this pair of Paige jeans from Nordstrom, and I don't know if you know how much those cost, but they're like somewhere between $150 and $200 depending on the style that you get, right? It's the same amount as a challenge pack. And like, then you can have your $2.99 or $4.99 leggings from Forever 21, right? And if you are going to go on a hike or going to go somewhere where you might get that ruined, what are you going to put on? Your $150 pair of, like, what are you going to take better care of? What are you actually going to be committed to? Your stuff that you actually spent money on that was hard for you to spend money on, right? That you saved up. So that's why when I get the question, well, can I just buy the program, or do I have to buy the shakes? That's kind of how I talk to people. You know what? People have more success when they are fully committed to the program. If you really want this and you really want to make the change, just like I really wanted my pages from Nordstrom, you're going to find a way to pay for them, even if that means you save up for a couple of months. Whatever you need to do, it's better for you to be fully invested and committed. And sometimes like putting out your hard-earned money is the way to give you or make you committed, if that makes sense. So I don't know. That's how I talk to people about it all the time. Like, you can go to Forever 21 and buy leggings for $4.99 and throw them away, and you don't even care about them.
It's true. And I honestly haven't had any challenger who's been successful that just buys the program. And I'll tell my people that too. Like, for some reason, $80 isn't enough for people to invest. But when they spend over $100, for some reason, they're like, okay, I'm going to do this. So it's true. Like, when it's a priority, like, people will do it. And Jerica had someone message her, and it was a really good point that I'd never thought of, but she was like, she'd never really commented. Jerica, why don't you tell it?
I don't remember who you're talking about. I have bad memory.
In her pants. She was trying to find the girl who's on her skinny.
Yeah. Hang on. You all wait. I'll find the message.
I thought this was a really good point, and I don't know why I never really thought of it, but it's a good angle to make if people are giving you excuses.
Okay, she said, okay, Jerica, I want to take your 21 fixed day challenge. I keep thinking about it and keep wondering if I can really do it. If I can afford it and if it would really work. I keep seeing your results, and finally this morning as I was squeezing into my skinny jeans, I thought, what if in 21 days these jeans fit and the way they used to? And then it hit me, 21 days of healthy eating and exercise is probably cheaper than investing in new clothes because nothing fits the way it used to. Good point. You're going to have to buy a whole new wardrobe if you don't get your act together. So
that's another thing to point out to people. Like, well, you can go buy a whole new, like, you can live in your pajamas, buy a whole new wardrobe, or you can suck it up and do this for the rest of your life and you just pay $140. I mean, you don't even have to do the shakes forever. You probably will, which I tell people, but that's a pretty cheap way to, anyway, we're getting off sidetracked.
Yep, we're rambling now. We could talk forever, but thank you. We'll wrap this up since we've been an hour. I will post this call so that you guys can share it with your teams if you want. And yeah, thanks, Jaelyn, for all of your thoughts and advice. I know I have a bazillion takeaways, so we're good.
Good.
Thank you very much. Ladies, have a good night.